Yeah, so, I think at this point it's fair to say the Detroit Red Wings may have themselves a closing problem. A problem where they're given opportunities to get points in the NHL standings. They're playing games that can reasonably be seen as winnable games, only to just kinda let the game get away from them. And lose. In regulation. All the time. Okay, maybe not all the time. The Red Wings still have some wins sprinkled in there the past few games, but my oh my, was today's showing against the Tampa Bay Lightning not a good one in that respect, despite the fact that they very well could have taken control and won this game. Now, I'll just be upfront and honest, I didn't end up watching this Red Wings and Tampa game in full. This is not a post-game video, but because that game was so early on in the day, it gives us an afternoon time slot to talk about this team and to try to dive into what's going on. Heading into today, the Detroit Red Wings had themselves a 37% chance via Money Puck at making the playoffs. And obviously, that number has gone down pretty significantly from when they were number 1 in the Atlantic just a few days ago. Now, the Red Wings are tied with 3 other teams just outside the top wildcard. And that 3 other teams metric, that could change by the time today is over. A lot of these teams are either playing games while I'm speaking into this microphone right now, or they're going to be playing later today. The Red Wings, though, with 3 straight regulation losses, mostly in games that they probably did have business coming in and winning, it is starting to get a lot more concerning for a team that started out the year pretty hot, despite the fact that they weren't getting too many saves, and they were burying all the chances they could have gotten. Spoiler alert, now, it's not like they're getting too many chances, and they're still not getting any saves. John Gibson, man, some of these shots, I'm sorry, but you can't be letting some of these in. Now, that's not to totally dismiss the defense, I mean, it's not like he's been getting any help there either, realistically speaking. The Red Wings in their own zone just kind of let the Lightning do whatever it is that they want at some points, and it reflects on the scoreboard. Gibson, we can give you flack. He hasn't been too great this season, but I'll admit, not every goal against in this one today was his fault. Some of these are tough to watch. Goaltending was supposed to be an area of strength for this Red Wings team. Cam Talbot was relatively reliable last year, and I'll admit, John Gibson had a pretty good resume when he was healthy last year. That was the issue, right? Oh, he's just not healthy. But when he plays, he's pretty good. Now it's like, hey, he's healthy, but he's not good. I don't is it time for Sebastian Cossa to come up here to Detroit? Is it time to go out there and potentially get a UC Soros or whomever? I don't know. And who does it boil down to? Whose fault is that? Is it the coach's fault? Is it the management's fault? Is it the players' fault? I mean, the coach is supposed to get the best out of the players, but the players are supposed to be bringing the best out of themselves too. The management is supposed to get the players, so who really lies at the heart of this all? Let's go over to some Detroit Red Wings fans' comments from the post-game thread against Tampa Bay earlier this morning, and just read what some of them have to say. Coltron57 had this interesting comment on the post-game thread. Disappointed is probably the most accurate word for me right now. The goal differential and how we lose games says more about the team than our standings points do. Disappointing to be this deep in a rebuild and to be stagnant over these last few years with too many players who either aren't good enough, don't care enough, or both. And to not get the vibe that the front office has any inclination other than to keep waiting and hoping on the prospects. The Greendale Grappler went out there and replied saying this: I made this argument time and time again during the summer and I got so much hate for it. The roster construction of the Detroit Red Wings made no sense, and there's no real sense of upward or even downwards progression. Fans expected guys like Albert Johansson, Axel Sandin-Pellikka, Nate Danielson, and Kasper to all magically hit and play like they're NHL players in their primes, while at the same time guys like Larkin, DeBrincat, Raymond, Edvinsson, and Seider would magically also play to their highest level. Somehow, this was all supposed to wash away the lack of any real NHL depth from the bottom of the lineup or on defense, and the Wings would have been off to the races. It just doesn't work like that. The team is built very poorly, with veterans like Larkin primed to age out by the time you're hitting on guys like Kasper. This Red Wings team is doomed to mediocrity. With only 8 out of 16 teams able to make the playoffs now, that mediocrity means a 10th or 12th place finish, not even sneaking into the playoffs to get mollywopped in round 1. So, yeah, that's pretty pessimistic, I'd say. Is it the roster construction, or is it the philosophy behind that construction? Was it the acquisition of the players themselves, or is it the kinds of players that keep on getting targeted here for this team? It's a new level of mid, you can say. Now we are starting to get other responses like this one, posted out there by bald-ass head coach, who of course is referring to a certain Newsy Lalonde from yesteryear. Steve Yzerman needs to pick a lane. If he wants this team to compete for a playoff spot, then prove it and get some better players here. If not, then sell everyone not named Raymond, Seider, and Larkin and enter the McKenna sweepstakes. And that's a very binary way of looking at it, one or the other. Either you make the playoffs and you get good players, or you lose out and you trade everybody away. But both things, I think, have realistic motivations behind them. The Red Wings, outside of their top guys, are just not really good enough. They're not deep enough. They don't have the necessary talent nor the tenacity to be able to potentially be a playoff contender. But of course, we always knew that being a playoff contender wasn't supposed to be the plan right now. It was like, okay, well, the team is still young. They're still improving, they're still getting these prospects into the lineup, etc., etc., etc. So why does it feel so bad this time around? Well, because it's been so many years of just that same formula. Transitory, middle-aged players that are not supposed to be long-term, perennial cup-contending, winning pieces, but guys that just fill in spots in the lineup while all these extra younger dudes come in. And unfortunately, sometimes we don't get the best out of Marco Kasper. Sometimes we don't get the best out of an Albert Johansson. Sometimes we don't get the best out of a bunch of the young dudes on the team. If you expect all of them to always be their best all the time, then okay, that's one thing, but that's not realistic. So when the young guys can't carry the load, you need extra depth and support to be able to patch those holes, and the guys here just aren't really good enough to do that. At least that's what we're seeing now in this little stretch. 3 straight regulation losses in very winnable games, admittedly. Hey, it was nice being number 1 in the Atlantic, being one of the best teams in the NHL, despite not getting a save and despite having a pretty low shooting percentage. The Red Wings have been a very interesting team to watch. And now, I guess we're just going to have to wait and see what happens next. I still need my guy to Brinkett to get goals because, hey, okay, my fantasy week isn't that tough this week. I'm doing pretty alright, but you can let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about how the Detroit Red Wings are leaking at this stage and how things aren't really looking all too good. They haven't been looking good the past few games, and I want you to let me know your thoughts as to how that gets fixed. Comment section is your floor. I hope you enjoyed this video. Sign on, and bye.